It's lagging a little bit, but could be worse, I guess. What's up, Chappie? What's up, Limitless? All right, so it's my first time streaming on this newer platform. Y'all gotta let me know if there's any problems with the mic or anything like that. I'm sure the video quality is not insane, but it'll have to do, fellas. What did Chris? Consider level played. The Hamer. It's good, guys. Shout out again to Bruce for this amazing intro. And if you ain't seen it yet, our quick little... Ooh, freaks. We got the dark mode too. Ooh! Stepping up our game. What's up, Zach? Alright, can you guys hear me during this too? Like when I play the Blockcircle logo, it says my mic's muted, but during this it doesn't, so I'm assuming my mic's working okay. That's the thing with this new streaming site. I don't know how to tell if my mic and stuff are working. Need Basil in the chat. All right. How you guys doing today? Pretty interesting day yesterday. Gary Gensler, let's go. Working fine. All right, great. Thank you, Miboto. Good old Gensler. Never a dull day in crypto, eh? GM. What's up, Bruce? What's up, Creasy? Gary, my man. That guy was popping off yesterday. Oh my gosh. You know his wife pegged him good after that one. Poor guy. I'm just kidding. Screw that guy. All right, so you guys know the drill. We'll give it a few minutes here, and then we'll do a quick top down on BTC. See how everything's looking. We're definitely gonna look at ETH BTC today. Looking honestly the best it's looked in, I don't know, man, at least a year and a half. Finally ran the lows from June 2022, not by much, but we did run the lows. It's okay, buddy. My cat and dog are gonna be making some noise. Apologies. That's what I'm saying, Creasy. Yeah, he got pegged good after that one. Need a rousing hunter speech about holding through the pain? Well, you're gonna get one, brother, because that's pretty much my game plan. I know some people would want to head short now, and I think it's fine, but with midterm and long-term targets that I have, I'm just not even remotely confident I can nail a quick short to 40K or upper 30s or whatever, and then get back in my positions on size. I'd rather just hold through the pain. Like, imagine having targets that are like 5 or 10 or 30 or 40 or 50x above where we are now, being like, yeah, but I need that 30% discount or it's not worth it. Like, bruh. Although some of these also is going to be like a 60% discount probably, but that's the nature of it. I always get surprised when people are like, man, Bitcoin's down like 5%. Some of these alts are down 30%. Well, brother, Bitcoin's been up like, well, I don't even know, very small amount since December 4th. Bitcoin's up 10%, and we got some alts that are up like 2,000%. So it's gonna go both ways, people. Chart Welsh, brother. I'm gonna have a bit of a spicy take on Welsh today. We're gonna have a little bit of a spicy take. But we'll save that. We'll save that. We're gonna do Bitcoin first. Got a BRC20 play for you. I ain't listening to no BRC20 play from you until this shit pumps again, brother. Not one. What's up, Fonzo? Down 3% so far. That sounds rough, dude. I think my portfolio is down since like January 1st. I don't even know. Not that much. Maybe 4% or something like that. It's been a rough week, It's been a rough time. Been up only since October, bruh. I mean, if you discount what, like August and September, I mean, it's been up only since February for basically a year. So it's like, I mean, me personally, portfolio up thousands of percentages last year. I don't care if we pull back a little bit. Like, that's healthy. People want the 100x without realizing the road to 100x has a bunch of 70% pullback of it. Like, that's just how she goes. But Mr. Hunter, sir, Bonk went 100x without a pullback. Bro, Bonk went 98% or something before it even did that. Maybe not that much. It was like 90 something. 96.5%. So, yeah, quite often people want the 100x, but they don't want to sit through the pain that usually takes to get there. Anyways, let's go ahead. Hope you guys are doing well today. Let's do a full, come on, top down on BTC. Maybe we'll check some of our long-term metrics out. And then we'll start looking at shitcoins. I know most people just want to look at shitcoins, but if you ignore Bitcoin, sometimes you're going to get caught with your pants down. Down 3% since the start of the week. Okay. I mean, honestly, I guess it might just be because I've been doing this so long, but like the fluctuations really don't get to me anymore. 3%, 10%, 20%. It's just another day. I think it's partially because I've structured my portfolio that even if it's down something drastic, like 50% in a week, with respect to my net worth, it's completely stomachable. Because I'm not 100% all in crypto anymore. There's not going to be a point where I feel like I've lost everything or anything. I mean, I could legit have my entire crypto portfolio go to zero. That shit would suck. I mean, I would definitely be like mad bummed out. I know the bills are paid. You know, I took out plenty of cash last year. Life would go on. I'd be crushed, man, but life would go on. And because of that, you know, I'm never having these days where I wake up like, gotta panic check the charts. Like, it just doesn't happen. I mean, if I was all in during this ETF period, like, I'd be kind of stressed out. But anyways, let's see what we're working with here. So if you guys aren't familiar, I always do a top-down approach. We look at the monthly, then the weekly, then the daily, sometimes the 4-hour. And we always want to be trading, for the most part, in the direction of the higher time frame. 9 times out of 10. Unless you're scalping day trades, 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute, then, you know. And it's kind of the same across all styles, whether you're scalping, swing trading, or long-term investing. You know, if you're scalping, you got your lower time frames trading in the direction of the higher one for the most part. And then when you're kind of swing trading, same thing. You generally want to be trading in the direction of the daily, your daily EMAs, and then long-term investing, for the most part, you want to be trading in the direction of the monthly. So that's why we do the top down. You know, when you get the directional right on the monthly, you get the direction right on the weekly, and the daily lines up, that's the perfect, you know, kind of the perfect storm, right? So let's see if everything lines up. All right. Oh, that's gonna bother me. We'll just zoom in so we can see it. And as always, if you guys got any questions, you know, feel free to post them in the chat. If not, I'm gonna keep on moving forward, assuming we're all on the same page. All right. Ouch in here. Ah. All right. So monthly time frame, we have now pretty much tapped the level I expected to tap last year. And I would say about halfway through the year, I kind of started to think maybe we wouldn't make it, but this is the 61.8 Fib retrace. And I'm going to get rid of it. I can't stand all this drawing stuff. And it's the same level we've hit in the last two bull markets. Right here, 61.8, hit in 2019. And in the 2016 bull market, we hit it right here. And both times it happened, we got a pretty significant sell-off. We're kind of at an in-between phase from a timing perspective. You know, this was June 2019. The halving was May 2020. And our halving's April 2024, and we're in January. So we're a bit later hitting our 61.8 Fib from last cycle, and we're a bit earlier from the previous cycle because this was the Bitcoin halving back then. And, you know, here's the thing with this idea. I've seen a few people sharing it around, but, you know, our sample size is 2. Right? Like, it's fun to look at previous cycles and it's fun to see similarities, but in the end, sample size is 2, you know, just because it happened twice. And you know, we might be able to get a sample size 3, but, you know, just because it happened 2 or 3 times does not guarantee it's going to happen again. And it doesn't even line up the previous cycle. So, but I think it is interesting that we always get some sort of reaction out of testing that 61.8 level. And, you know, maybe this time's different with ETFs and stuff. I don't think so. I do think we're sitting on the most strong narrative yet. You know, the inflows from all these different ETFs, assuming they get approved, you know, I'm kind of going off the assumption they will get approved. If they get rejected, you know, whole different ball game, I suppose. I still think we can have a good run, but if they get rejected, you know, it's definitely going to be kind of rough in the near term. but we're sitting on a ton of fresh inflows from ETFs that, from what I'm seeing, are likely to be pretty competitive between each other. They've got this kind of fee war going on right now where all these different ETF providers want to attract the most amount of clients as quick as possible because they know, for the most part, when these bigger businesses pick an ETF provider, they're not going to be swapping to a new one in 6 months or a year, right? They're going to pick one, they're going to stick with it for years. So I imagine right out the gate, and we're already kind of seeing this with the little fee war, they are going to be very competitive with each other. And why would they bother doing that if they don't expect a very large amount of money to be coming into these ETFs? So, with that, let's say we get approved today or this week, and they say ETFs will be live in a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever. Up until when they go live, I do think we'll get a pullback on Bitcoin, maybe to low 40s, upper 30K, something like that, maybe mid 30s. But I don't think it'll be very, long lived. I imagine these different ETF providers are going to really start pushing on the marketing side of things because they're going to want to suck in as many clients as possible, as fast as possible, before they can, get convinced by some other provider. So that's going to be a massive amount of capital that will just be slow bidding Bitcoin permanently, essentially. And again, whether it starts in a week, a month, 3 months, I don't know. That might affect the time of this pullback, but big picture doesn't change much for me. If I gotta sit through a 30% portfolio pullback to make another 20x in my portfolio, that's worth it to me. I mean, ideally, it's not that bad, but if it is, I've kind of prepped for it mentally and with my profit taking strategy last year. So, if you're not comfortable sitting through whatever mid 30Ks would be for Bitcoin, 20% on Bitcoin, 40% on some of these alts, maybe even 50 to 60, then it's probably not a terrible idea to be taking some profits on your big winners, this week. And, if you're like me in big picture, I'm not so worried about this. Whether this goes to 40K or 35 or even 30, the expectation for me is this eventually, whether it's, this is just a bullshit drawing, but whether it's, new all-time highs into this year, new all-time highs middle of this year, early next year, I don't really mind or care if I have to sit through, these little 20 to 30% pullbacks in between making a ton of money. And that does seem to be kind of the theme this cycle. We had this drastic pullback in 2020 due to COVID. And these pullbacks that don't really look like much from the previous cycle, but if you zoom in from this breakout peak to the low, I mean, this is a 30% pullback. Post halving, it's a 40% pullback. We're not really seeing that this cycle so far. I'm going to go back to the monthly in a second, but pretty consistently, all of our pullbacks have been like 20%, 22, 22, and maybe there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe there's justification for this is all building up to this ETF approval. Maybe after that, we'll get a bit of a deeper one, 30, 35%. But I don't know. I think again, assuming the ETFs get approved, every 10% is going to get more and more desirable for the big boys. To us, it's just business as usual, but to these guys, this could be a generational kind of entry, right? And these guys are going to want to offer the best returns to their clients as possible. So, having the start of their ETF chart look something like this, I mean, that would be extremely, extremely positive, right? If we have sideways, it's absolutely fine for sure. I think most people though would want to see sideways like this, and they might get some sideways. Okay, that was really, really drastic, but you get the idea. You know, they might get some sideways like this and not really like that so much. But you know, just because this sucks, you know, does not mean that you can't make a ton of money during this, or even just, you know, positioning yourself properly. I didn't make that much money, if any, from here to here, but because of my positioning then and willingness to keep adding risk, when this finally came, made a lot of money. And you know, gave back plenty during here, right? And that's how it, I mean, that's how it really always goes, you know, gave back some during this, gave back some during this, gave back some during this, right? Gave back some during this. I mean, but you're positioning yourself for the meat of the coming moves. And you don't have to do that. You know, you can just wait. I think it's, you know, a fine strategy. If we get some kind of dump, you know, you can just wait until the move re-begins, but you know, you're gonna be chasing it. If you know, if we start to break out bullish again, come these points, you know, a lot of coins are gonna start to move heavily off their lows. That when we finally break out, you know, you're gonna be buying 2x, 3x off the bottom. And some people, myself included, are not very good at that. You know, when something's 2x or 3x away from where I could have bought it 3 days ago, I don't want to buy. Like, I want to be like, nah, man, you know, it was 10 cents last week. I'm not buying here 30 cents. And then a month later, you know, I've forgotten about it and it's $4. It's like, that's why I'm willing to buy when it's at a level I'm really comfortable with, accept the drawdown, and then not worry once things get nice again if I gotta, you know, chase an entry. And that's why 99% of my bets this run, a bit different from last cycle, are lower portfolio risk to zero. And I mean it. You know, when I say 2% risk to zero, that is the truth, right? So, you know, if I'm buying something that looks like this, my risk is to zero. It doesn't matter if it does this. If it dies, that was the risk. If it goes down and then goes sideways for months, the risk is the same. It either dies, you know, stays near zero forever, or I make money. And that has been an extremely good strategy the last year. I mean, you know, plenty of L's. You know, some people come in Blockcircle and the first couple of trades they follow me on, they're gonna be losses. I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. I'm not pretending that I never take losses, but you know, if I take 4 losses between 0.5% and 2%, that might only be 5 to 6% loss. But then you know you get Fideum going up a 2x, and that covers about 10% of my portfolio in losses. Thus, that's 5 to 10 free plays. You know, but anyways, Bruce wanted the rousing hunter speech about holding through the pain. And I think it really just depends on how you're structuring your risk, how much you know you can tolerate. And for those that can't tolerate much pain, you just have to accept not having as much exposure when times are uncertain. And with the whole ETF approval stuff, I mean, times are definitely kind of uncertain. Not so uncertain on a multi-month outlook, on a week-to-week outlook. You know, we could be at 50K next week, we could be at 35K. So for those people, you might just have to have a little bit less risk on right now. Thus, if we break up from here, you're gonna have to decide, you know, am I gonna chase this even though I've been thinking after an ETF approval, we're gonna dump, I'm gonna get a big, nice, juicy pullback, or am I gonna chase altcoin dips at 50, 52K Bitcoin and then, you know, risk that pullback coming after I chase and I've just whipped it back. See, I don't like that. That stresses me out. I'd rather just be positioned, willing to sit through some pain. And then when the time comes, you know, I'm already good to go. Anyways, let's look at the monthly on BTC here. So not really that many levels between where we're at now and all-time high. We've got obviously the all-time high. We've got this little pit stop, lower high, whatever you want to call it here. That's what we're kind of messing around with. And then we've got this giant block of support. Some people want to outline the lows of the wicks. Some people want to outline the closes. I'm just going to draw a big fat box. Obviously, this is a giant range. I don't know if we'll hold 35K on the way down, if we'll hold 28K, if we'll hold at 31, 32, 33. I don't really care. It's all kind of the same. I think if you're looking to bid on the way down, I think you do it slowly. If you want to put in $10,000, you put $1,000 in, $1,000 in, maybe $2,000 in, and then you wait it out until that downtrend on the way down has kind of turned around a little bit. You can bid on the way down, but you don't want to bid every lower low in case, God forbid, that downtrend doesn't end anytime soon. You don't want to get wiped on the first big pullback of a fresh bull run, right? So if we do get a pullback, I don't think you just all in on the first little dip. I think it's okay to be patient. What's up, Tommy? What's up, Walter? And then, once the cycle really turns again, you can hit it harder. I will say I don't really like the look of this monthly. It does look a little bit extended, and it happens in crypto, especially where you get these kind of high stochastic cycles, and then it just keeps going. We had that happen in 2020. I wonder if it's a bit too early in the cycle for that to happen, but I don't know. I just would say, again, the low of this cycle was the start of 2023. So I've taken enough profits on this up move that if and when the down move comes, I'm not going to feel like I missed a gigantic opportunity or anything. So if that happens, maybe we ride out a bit of a pullback into Q2 or something. But I think it'll be short-lived given the halvings coming up. It's an election year. Inflows from the ETFs are going to start coming soon if they get approved, which I think they will. So I think that'll be a bit short-lived. Looking at the weekly, we definitely look a little bit more extended. This has been a really strong move. We finally ran into this lower high from 2022. We're forming a bit of a topping tail here. Maybe it's just a bait. I don't really know. I'm not going to try and go on the limb and be a hero or anything, but for now, it looks a little bit toppy. The Stochastics coming down on the weekly. Momentum topped out back in the end of November, so we're kind of just slowing down a little bit. I would like a reset to 0 on the weekly and a fresh pop-up in momentum with a cycle low on the weekly. That would have me a bit more cozy that, we're not going to see this bigger picture pullback. And you can get a pullback on both of these without a big nuke. Even just like some chop would definitely be enough to bring these both down. And you can see that's pretty much what we waited for during our pullback last year. We had this cycle come down, momentum reset, and then once we got going again in momentum and cycle, everything was kind of good to go in here. And this is, what I'm talking about, right? You can bid a little bit on the way down and then just wait for the intermediate term downtrend to kind of fizzle out and then hop back in when we get going again. And yeah, you might be buying a previous top level essentially, but ideally if you bid a little bit on the way down, you get a little bit better of an average entry, and then you buy with the strength once it gets going again. What's up, Javier? So we'll go ahead and finish up the top down here. I mean, as uncomfortable as the higher time frames look a little bit, things are still looking pretty good on the daily. I mean, consistent higher lows. It's essentially the same structure we had back here. And, people were nervous here and here and here about a bigger pullback, and even here. And we didn't really get it. We just kept making higher lows. Maybe we still do that. I think as long as we respect like 41K-ish, not really a reason to be concerned of, a higher time frame pullback. You see Capo talking about 30K. I mean, 12K, I think is just a meme. I don't think he genuinely thinks we'd go that low. But, you see him talking about these bigger dips. I think it's just kind of a waste of time until we break structure to even talk about that. But first sign of discomfort is definitely losing like 43. If we lose this big breakout candle on a closing basis, it starts to look a bit weak. And then our last big higher low before this push up is around 41. We've also got EMA support there. So anything above there looks kind of cozy. But if we start to lose that, I mean, that'll be our first market structure break since 25K. So basically a 2x on Bitcoin since October. So losing that would definitely be a reason to err on the side of caution. But until then, I mean, it's kind of business as usual. We're still respecting our 4-hour EMA trend. You're kind of just sitting on top of the old all-time high. And we've got our longer term moving averages right around here. But what's up, Samach Cat? What's up, Artie? Was Capo ever actually good? I don't know. I never really paid attention to the guy that much. I know he called for much more bearish here, and he called for much more bullish here. And he's called bearish this whole way up. He shorted Solana like this whole way up and stuff. So I don't know. I've never seen the guy performing well. Maybe he's just super rich and he can afford to take all these losses, but I don't know. He seems like kind of a clown to me. But that's how I feel about a lot of these bigger accounts. I mean, I rarely see a lot of these big accounts actually making big bucks. I mean, and all they got to do, since a lot of them have so much money already from deals and whatnot, all they need is like a 50% gain on like Ethereum and they can make $1 million and then cash that out. And then they can be wrong for 2 years and who cares? They made $1 million. It's like, yeah, two different capos. I'm talking about the shitty capo, the discount capo, if you will. This one we don't like. I mean, I don't dislike him. I just don't think he's had a very good call or track records or anything. I don't even follow this guy. I'm just not realizing. But the capo I like, capo the goat. This guy's a good dude. Had a lot of really good calls over the years. Very generous, big heart, good family man, all that stuff. And like everyone else, he has some misses, but for the most part, this cycle and last cycle, I didn't really follow him much in the 2017 one, but he's had a lot of banging calls. And in general, seems very transparent, a good guy. So I like this capo with a K. Capo with a C, we don't stand that guy. But anyways, if you guys have questions about Bitcoin or overall direction or anything, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm about to look at the dollar, the stock market, and ETH BTC, and then we'll get into shitcoins. But I gotta use the bathroom. So just give me like 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. Whew. All right. Oh my gosh, did the video not loop? Or whatever. I guess it doesn't loop. I don't have it set up for that. More conservative bulls waiting for 03, 035. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's cope, dude. I've seen some guys talking about 0.03 on ETH BTC. I think that is actual cope. Like there is nothing to indicate that it would go that low. I mean, like we're sitting right at pie line support on the weekly. We just ran monthly support. The monthly cycle is floored. Momentum has never been this negative. And we've been down only since the end of 2022. So I think 0.03 is absolute cope. Like, you know, if it happens, I mean, we can all make fun of Hunter, but, you know, I think, you know, at the worst, like 0.04, you know, retest of these kind of levels. I've been thinking 0.04 to 0.045, and we could very well have just bottomed here. I think until we clear like 0.06 to 65-ish, you know, we could keep going lower. This is kind of that bigger picture trend. But I think 0.03 is absolute cope. And just like unsubstantiated. Like it, I don't know. You think pull back the 40K price to give confluence we need for those entries for Basel types? I don't think Basel. Of course, I don't know. I haven't read his ETH updates lately. Is he saying 0.03? Maybe he's got some justification for that, honestly, but I see no reason to think we would go back that low. I mean, you're talking like 2020 levels. And if ETFs get approved for BTC, I mean, that sets a pretty damn good precedent for an ETH ETF to get approved at some point this year. You know, it might take months. But if that happens, I mean, you're going to get a similar run up, I think, that Bitcoin has had in the last 12 months or since, I don't know when they really started talking ETFs, like June, you know, and from basically September to now, it's been up only for Bitcoin. So, and if we kind of reach the big target everyone's had, you know, ETF approval for BTC, I think that's a perfect time for funds to start moving to ETH. So, I don't know. ETH to zero party, maybe? Absolutely not, dude. ETH is going to tear face this cycle. I have no doubt about it. Didn't mean to speak out of turn. He could be looking for higher, not sure. It's all good. I don't think Basil's going to be triggered over your comments or anything. He's a grown-ass man. Don't think Basil has said that, guys. I need to read his post. It's my fault, honestly. I've been kind of a little bit slacking on that. Just put people in category of more conservative bulls. He's definitely a conservative bull, and I think that goes very well with my more optimistic bull. You know, a very healthy balance we have. So, yeah, and again, like I said, maybe we get those levels, and maybe I'm coping, thinking we don't. But you know, we're just sitting in a giant range for ETH. And if we're going to hit those levels, I think it's almost a little bit silly to want to be immediately long there. Because if we go that deep, I mean, we're probably going to chop there for a long time. I doubt we just V-bottom all the way back up and then rip to new highs. But maybe, I mean, it's all kind of moot. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I think you can be bidding ETH lightly here. And then think about this. ETH BTC has been sideways since May 2021, almost 3 years. If this turns into a new power trend, buying here instead of here does not really matter. You know, like it's not. I don't think that after this downtrend chop or whatever is over, we're just gonna pop and that's going to be it. No, I think this is straight up going to new highs. So, whether you buy here or whether you can buy here, or here, or here, or here, I don't think it's going to matter that much. Obviously, a big difference here versus here, but you get the idea. If you're adding to ETH long term here, and then you're just patiently waiting for this downtrend to end, then why care? Just wait for it to end, and then when it gets going, you can start to be more aggressive later on. Everyone wants to hit the bottom, and I think it genuinely does not matter at all how close you are to the bottom. Like, oh, but you can make a little bit more money. Yeah, you can make a little bit more money the closer you are to bottom, no doubt. But as I've said quite often, point A to B, my goal is to catch this. I don't care about the bottom tick. I don't care about the top tick. There's very, very few people that will hit the bottom tick or the top tick, let alone both. I just don't think it matters. But it's fun to speculate. It's fun to speculate where the bottom's going to be, where the top's going to be, when we're going to get to both. Damn, it's popping right now. 2440. Is that new highs locally? That is. Nice. All cumulatively, goodness, point towards the sector cracking above 10 trillion in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. Is that Basil's words? Yeah, he's definitely on the safe side there, talking to 5 to 10 years. I think most people in our chat probably don't care about no 5 to 10 years. No hard feelings, Basil. And I do agree with that sentiment, but I think that's, just as likely in the next year or two. Maybe not 10 trillion in the next year or two. 5 to 10 years, 10 trillion, I definitely think is a safe bet. I mean, where are we at? Where are we even at, like, right now? 1.6? Oh my gosh, look at this arrow. I haven't used these arrows in I don't know how long. When did I draw that? Oh no, this is Capo's chart. He always does these straight down arrows. Oh gosh. Okay, maybe I did look at total a few months ago. But let's see, 10 trillion is not that far away. What did we do last cycle? About a 25x. Previous cycle was like 100 or something. No, it was 320x. So 330 to 25. Maybe like an 8x off the bottom or something. Or even a 5x off the bottom puts us at about 4.5 trillion. And I think that's pretty conservative for, sometime in 2025. So you're talking a year and a half from now to hit close to 5 trillion. I don't really think that's that out there at all. But, anyways, how's the other one looking? Total, is it 2? 3, what is 3? 3 is BTC and ETH. Let's just do 2. I mean, this chart looks phenomenal. Total 2 looks absolutely amazing. I can't imagine fading this big picture. And it's like you're fading a move like this for this. I don't get that. Like I know, it's logarithmic. This is a big pullback, but you're talking about huge potential upside. You're talking about potentially 300% upside versus a 20, 25, maybe 30% pullback. Horrible risk reward. Horrible. Anyways, what do you guys think the top is for ETH this cycle? I mean, 10K is kind of like that juicy target I think a lot of people are looking for. I think conservative is like mid 7s. And then, really euphoric would be like, near 20K. I mean, we should look at some market cap speculation here. Bitcoin, I think, goes towards 100K. You know, maybe it tops out at 90, maybe it tops out at 200, but I think 100 is a nice level to think about, and that would be about 2 trillion. And right now we're sitting at like a third of the market cap of Bitcoin for Ethereum. So, you know, this goes to 2 trillion. You're talking what, like 700 for Ethereum? If Ethereum stays at the same ETH BTC level, and I think Ethereum will probably triple at least in its ETH BTC relationship. Thus, I mean, we could see easily over $1 trillion for this, and that would have it around, you know, $7,000 or something like that. And then let's, you know, the more bullish side is this goes to 150K, this goes to like 3 trillion. So if you're sitting at about half of that market cap, you know, again, for a bullish ETH BTC pair, you're talking about maybe 1.5 trillion for this, which is like a 5x from here. So that's well over 10K. So that's kind of my cozy region, you know, 7,500 to like 11-ish. You know, I'd feel pretty confident that we'll hit that, you know, in the next year or two. And then the more conservative side, of course, is like 5K-ish. But I think there's too much going on for it to top out there. Justin and G says, Hopium? I mean, you know, you're free to think that if you like, buddy, but I don't think that's Hopium even remotely. I mean, we've been down only from November 2021 to basically November 2023. I mean, that's 2 years of Hopium. For what? I mean, what even is 7K from here? Dude, that's 200%. How is that even remotely Hopium? The last time after COVID low, it went 5,500%, and 200% is Hopium? Come on. I mean, again, you know, we take all opinions here, no hard feelings or anything, but you know, I don't think that's. I think Hopium is like 30K, and that's barely a 10x from here on one of the most bullish assets on the planet. Hopium, maybe is it Hopium? I've always said Hopium. 20K is Hopium. Again, is a 10x? Is a 10x from range breakout really that Hopium? I think the more people think like that, the more likely this goes ballistic. And again, if ETH BTC can make new highs, which it might not, you know, maybe that thesis is wrong. But even just all-time high is 0.15. A 0.15 ETH BTC pair. If BTC goes even 2x, the old high is $22,000 Ethereum. Right? And even if Bitcoin only hits 100K, if ETH BTC after, I mean, 6 years since its all-time high, if this goes up just to 3x, that's 15K Ethereum. I don't think that's that crazy. I think people are just so scarred from Ethereum's underperformance that I don't know. I think they're just like screwing themselves. Like, have you guys seen a full bull market? Like, truly, have you guys seen? I mean, even think 2017. You know, 2021 and 2020 were great, but to me, this was a bit of a muted cycle, especially for Bitcoin. I mean, you went 3x from the old high. I don't know, man. I don't think that's Hopium at all. But power to you. I mean, we will see. I don't think, you know, I don't think you full hold the whole bag to 10K ETH or anything like that, but I don't think you exit completely either until the trend breaks. 300 to 500K BTC. See, that would make sense if we get a cycle like 2016, 2017. Last cycle, I think, got cut a little bit early, in my opinion. I could have easily seen this go into 100K plus last cycle. So maybe this cycle we actually pull some bigger numbers. You know, we went 15x last cycle. We went 100x the previous cycle or something. So, you know, even just a 10x is 150K, or maybe a little bit more, 170K. If we just matched last cycle, you know, you're talking 250K. And if we massively underperform, you know, a third of last cycle's gains, that's still 100K. Like, you think we'll ever see a time when Bitcoin will not be fundamentally the most important project? Will we ever see a time? I don't know. I got no idea, honestly. I'd be giving you, you know, opinions out my ass if I said so. I think Bitcoin will be the leading indicator for crypto for a very long time. Some people think ETH will flip it, or, you know, some other coin. I don't think so, but, you know, perhaps. Power to, excuse me, power to you is such a classic Hunter line. I don't even know which one you're talking about, but whole thesis is based on too high of gas fees. I mean, you know, consider the bigger money in the market. Do you think Bitcoin's going to 150K off the guys with $1,000 portfolios? And no hard feelings to people with smaller portfolios, but even my portfolio, big picture, is not affecting this market at all. Like, you think multi-millionaires care about $100 gas fee? You think 8-figure traders, 9-figure traders, you think they care about a $200 gas fee? You think that's going to stop them from participating out the ass? Of course not. That's going to suck for the little guy, and that's going to have the little guy go into Solana and Arbitrum and AVAX and all the other ecosystems, which will likely perform extremely well too. But high gas fees is not, I mean, it's just not going to stop anyone from trading on it. It's not going to stop anyone that's pushing this hundreds of billions of dollars higher from participating. It's just not. I don't know where people think that. People think that retail is like retail is for sure the ones pushing these, you know, $1 million market cap coins to $100 million market cap. But it's not the ones, you know, you and me and your neighbor and the guys you work with. They are not the ones that are going to push Ethereum from 2K to 10K. It's just not, you know. And again, it's just an opinion, you know. Don't get nobody get butthurt. I'm not going to be butthurt if I'm wrong, but like it's just, it doesn't matter, you know. Like I've ran up hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees, and that is not going to stop me from buying something on Ethereum tomorrow if my gas is $100. BlackRock has 10 trillion AUM for real. Like, you think they're gonna not TWAP Ethereum because gas fees are high? And a lot of these guys are not paying gas fees. Like, a lot of these guys are not gonna be trading on DeFi. ETF approved. God John tweeted 7 seconds ago, never mind, just think it's certification or some shit, but it's coming either way. Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be approved. I'm not seeing confirmation of that yet, but you know, I have no doubt it's coming. Solana euphoria for some, I guess. Yeah, temporarily, probably. But I feel like the people posting euphoria are people that like have mainly traded crypto during this. Like, for those that have been doing it since like 2015, 2017, it's none of this is euphoria. Like, you don't know the meaning of the word, you know? Like, euphoria is so powerful that the majority of the market will not realize it's euphoria. That is the euphoric part, is that things are so crazy you can't even recognize that it's so crazy it's probably about to be toast. Euphoria is not half of the market pointing out that it's euphoria. In my opinion, again, we gotta always recognize I'm just a one person, my opinions are not fact by any stretch of the imagination. But if you think you or me or a guy next door is gonna point out euphoria as it's happening, you're crazy. Like, when things are euphoric, I'm probably not going to be like, "Oh, totally, yeah, we're so euphoric right now, exit all the markets." Nothing about this market feels euphoric right now, not even remotely. I mean, sure, a 2x on Bitcoin in a few months is near term euphoric, but euphoric is 500% in 6 months, or oh, my computer's lagging. Oh, no, I'm on the wrong tool. 1,000% in 6 months, or even 300%. This is, I don't know. Power to you guys, but nothing about this feels euphoric other than, we've had some crazy rallies on shitcoins for the last year. But I would wager a big portion of market participants are still not making massive gains. I mean, you guys see shitcoins going crazy in your circles, and it might feel euphoric because there's some people making a lot of money. But I mean, euphoric is when someone has turned $1,000 on Sheeb into $10 billion, right? Like, some guy making 10 mil on Bonk, that's not euphoria. Maybe near term, but big picture in a $5 trillion environment with big boys coming in with 10 trillion AUM, I just don't think it's euphoria. It's euphoria for people that are screwed by the bear market, for people that were born and bred from 2022 onwards. But the people that have seen multiple massive cycles, the people that have seen these cycles, this is not euphoria. Anyways, I'm just rage tweeting or rage talking now. What happens after approval? Pump the 50K and retrace? Probably, yeah. Maybe not even a big pump, honestly. We might have seen the main pump yesterday. Maybe we just chop or pull back and then chop. I don't really know. Someone confirmed the above. Did it get approved? Um, I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much like misinformation going around. I don't know what these different articles and stuff mean, but it does kind of look like ETF has been approved. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it from my point of view. That's not from the SEC. Oh, okay. Just a letter from CBOE to SEC asking to approve. Okay. Yeah, it's about time for coin suggestions for sure. I'm gonna go through briefly how my portfolio kind of looks right now. But if you guys want to ask for different coins to look at, we sure can. Let's peep the dollar real quick. The dollar looks like it kind of wants to go on a midterm rally. This kind of lines up with the idea of a Bitcoin pullback, but the monthly is shaping up for much lower on the dollar. I think if anything, it's going to be something like this, whether we do this first or not. And Bitcoin is basically inverse dollar. So dollar dump, Bitcoin pump. Simple as that. Stocks have already hit new highs and they look ready to keep going. I mean, every time frame looks good for stocks. Look at the yearly candle for stocks. You imagine we BCI? Like this is a confirmed BCI on the yearly chart for the stock market. I mean, even if we pull back to like low 4,000s, I mean, big picture outlook for stocks is extremely good. Big picture outlook for the dollar is extremely bad. In what world do those two situations occur and we don't rip on Bitcoin big picture? I don't know. Anyways, who here has been making stacks with us on Fideum? This has been one of my biggest winners the entire last year or so. I mean, we're in from here. I mean, we hit basically a 60x already on Fideum. Absolutely crazy. And I think this still has big legs. Probably 10 cents plus this cycle on Fideum, or $1 for Block Bank if you're in from when we got in. That's what I'm looking for, big picture. Chart still looks really good, just kind of cooling off since that last big push up. Creso, kind of the same outlook. I think this is really cheap for what they're going to be offering. I think this is probably going to at least 10x from here. Still holding most of my size on this one. 0KN also stupid undervalued. Stupid undervalued. 20 mil is a joke for the guys that are working on this. Entered Fideum on the dip after the token switch. Nice. Nice, dude. No, we haven't done. We're doing 0KN right now. I think for those of you that have been paying attention to what's going on in the background for this project, this is so undervalued. It's not even funny, man. Like when this consolidation ends, this thing is going to rip. Like it's going to absolutely rip. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurts, bro. Good lord. Might have to take a bathroom break here in a little bit. I'm not talking about a piss. Man, this project, I could legitimately see this a billion plus. I mean, you've got Monero devs working with this. You've got Mina protocol devs. You've got NIM devs that hit $1 billion. Like, this is basically plug and play privacy for every chain and application in existence, not even just in crypto. And I don't know that, a lot of their stuff is not live. They're still working on it. So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt until it's actually, completely working. But this is the joke. This is a complete and utter joke. I mean, I think this is going to go something crazy, like 10 cents. Like 10 cents, I think, where the chart looks something like this right now. And it's also not like, it doesn't even look super euphoric. I mean, I could see the case for, oh, it's distribution, you double topped, you put in a lower high and you nuke. I could see that case. But that, I think, will be short-lived going later into this year. I think this is going to explode. I am one of the top holders. Hold on, my girlfriend's at the door. What's up, baby? All right. 0 keeps going sideways. I understand nothing. I mean, yeah, most people don't know what's even going on in this project behind the scenes. And in the end, I mean, I don't think the market cap is euphoric by any means of the imagination, but it did have a 25x pump since October, so it topped out barely a month ago. So, I'm not surprised it's going sideways, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes sideways or even a little bit down over the next month or two. But big picture, I think this is going to explode. Enough said. ATOR with a nice recovery, a super clear Adam and Eve bottom forming here. I did take some profits here, and I sold some chips here just to kind of distribute across my portfolio, but I've still got pretty big size on this one. I think about 60% of my original size from 30 to 40 cents back in July and August. I still think this is going to go pretty big as the whole DPIN narrative. And if you guys aren't familiar with DPIN, I think it's decentralized private infrastructure network. I think that's what DPIN stands for. But that's kind of one of the growing narratives in the market right now. That's what 0KN is doing. That's what ATOR is doing. I think it makes a lot of sense to be exposed to some kind of project like that. Another one I've been looking at is the provenance kind of narrative that Cryptopathic's been talking about. If you guys aren't familiar, it's time to read up. Go check out Cryptopathic's profile. He's got a big, long tweet on it. This coin is essentially a fractionalized ownership of the Doge NFT. And I think that is stupid powerful. I mean, you consider that Doge, the coin that actually has no true connection to the Doge NFT, hit $100 billion. What can the coin that is actual ownership of the Doge NFT go to? I think this goes to hundreds of millions of dollars, at least. And it's sitting at 24 million right now. This is one of my highest initial risk investments I've ever done in crypto. I mean, I've got a very large percent of my, I mean, it's not like 20% of my portfolio, but I put like 5% initial risk on this or something, or 6. Like, and for me, that's a lot. Like a lot of my plays nowadays, I'm putting 0.5% of my portfolio, 1%, maybe 1.5. So 5%. Is this chat not? Yeah, no, the chat works. You can chat on YouTube. You can chat on Twitter. I can see it. Did I miss one of your comments? If I did, sorry about that. But yeah, the Twitter chat is working. Dependent AI will be glorious. Absolutely. AI is, in my opinion, the best narrative this cycle. It's so easy to understand. It's so easy to like chill people on. And people have been hearing AI since they were little kids. They have very poor understanding of what AI actually is, as I probably do too. But you hear AI and you think future, right? You hear AI and you think future. And it just made sense that at some point, what's up, Beaver? At some point, everything will be AI. And so when these projects come out and they paint this glorious dream for what they can do and how soon they can do it. First off, for most of those AI projects, that dream will never be reached. And for the few that do reach it, it'll probably not even happen for 5-10 years. But the dream that these projects will paint in AI, it'll catch so much attention. You will have AI projects going to tens of billions of dollars from basically nothing. So yeah, that's my favorite narrative, probably. But anyways, guys, provenance coins. Look into Dog. Don't sleep on this one. Not financial advice, blah blah blah. You risk whatever you want to risk, but I'm risking one of my highest initial risks ever on this one. And the chart looks great. I mean, anyone that wanted to sell this coin has done so the last 2 years. right? There's nobody left to sell. I know that's kind of a catchphrase. Of course, there's always someone left to sell. But in my mind, the big boys in this are not selling right now. And the near-term structure looks extremely healthy. Big move up, a big dump to weed out any people that don't believe, and now steady accumulation the last 3 weeks. In case it didn't show earlier, curious what you think about EMP. I am not familiar, my friend. Imperial. That's this one, right? Imperial. I think we've looked at that on stream a while back. Oh yeah, I do remember this project. What is this? 20 million? 8 million? I think it's pretty promising. Not much info on the team, but definitely enough. I think fundamentally this project is quite promising. What's up, Ryan? My man. I mean, price action doesn't look great near term, but big picture, it had a huge move earlier this year. So kind of like how I feel towards 0KN, although not as drastic of a move. It's just in a cool off phase. Right? Basically sitting back on its old all-time high, in this general region. Poorly drawn line. But I don't think you really want it to lose this 35 level. That would definitely be a sign of distribution. Right? New high, lower low would be a bad looking pattern. But at such a low market cap, in my opinion, it's not really something you trade a pattern around. You either believe this is worth 100 million plus or you don't. And if you do, then you should like it as much at 8 million as you do at 4. And it just depends on how you want to play it. If you're trying to swing trade and catch a quick move, then I would say bullish at this level and bearish anything below like 35. But if you're looking for a long-term banger, this is just something you're DCAing as low as it goes. And this is another reason why I love risk to zero, because I'm not stressing about a stop loss. If I risk 1% of my portfolio here, another 1% here, another 1% here, 3% overall risk. If it dies, I lose 3% of my account. If it rips to 100 million plus, I make 30% of my account. Boom. Super simple, low stress, low risk, high reward. And I mean, if you're targeting 15 mil, if you're targeting a 2x, I think there's probably better things you can make a 2x on. But I think fundamentally it looks good. And chart-wise, it looks decent. I mean, typically I don't really love the new high, lower high look. If this was upside down, right, you would basically have a charting pattern like this. Right? So I don't really like this look in the near term, but even with a flush like this, if you like the tech, you're basically looking for the inverse of this over under to happen and to go like this. That would be a good sign. Or even something like this, a spike back above 50. That's I think that's what you're looking for. You can bid here into support. And if you break down, if you're swing trading, you probably don't want to be involved until you get a reclaim, or you can just wait for a typical kind of breakout here to get involved. Okay, I think those are the plays if you're into this one. Other than AEGUS, what other AI projects do you like? I think PAL. PAL is a pretty good project from what I've seen. I think Hikari's got some AI narrative going for it. AI OTC. What else? Zero K is kind of AI narrative, more privacy deep in. ITX, yeah. I mean, this has got AI narrative going for it. I think I'm like 40% of my size left on this one. I think I'm only up maybe like an 8x from this from our original. I think original entry was like 600K market cap or something. And I kind of lost faith in this one during the MTE days, but it does look pretty decent now, I will say. I did cut some in this general range, but I think this looks decent. You know, you can probably get 30, 40 mil out of this. But other than that, I'm not super in tune with AI. I'm kind of just banking on AEGUS, which I think looks really good here. It's kind of got the same look as Imperial, right? You kind of got this like over under going on. So I'd say, you know, if swing trading, you don't really want to see this below 10 cents. And big picture, you want to see us get trending back above 20. You know, if we can get some nice price action above this general region, it's going to start looking really good again. Oops. And this is probably my favorite AI coin bet right now. 22 ETH buy. Nice. Dude got sandwiched really hard. But I mean, yeah. I mean, the people know what's good. New chart, new life. I mean, that is true. And that was my biggest problem I have with them. It seemed like they were just rebranding because their original attempt failed. But you know what? One of the most successful projects I've ever seen did the same thing. AAVE did a complete rebrand last cycle. They were nothing with lending and borrowing before, and they rebranded, and then they went up 100x versus Bitcoin, which Bitcoin went 5x in that period of time. So you're talking about like a 500x move. So there's nothing wrong with pivoting to something completely new. Maybe that'll be really good for ITX. Shooting for 100 mil on Imperial. Believe in the project and team. They've been building something cool. Revenue starting soon. Yeah, chart's not great, but I mean, I would say the fundamentals of this seem like something that could get to $100 million. And come big picture bull market, $100 million is probably barely going to crack top 500. So I don't think it's that out there. Ooh, is GMX on the move? Ooh. GMX is starting to look juicy. This is a nice chart. GMX to 500 win. Arbitrum season coming back. Can you check VANRY? We can check it right now, brother. Guessing it's this one. Looks like some very healthy accumulation going on. VANR chain. Okay. Whoa. So is their chain mainly targeted towards GameFi? Oh, that's cool. I will say I don't feel like there needs to be a chain just for GameFi. Just my opinion, at least, but it seems pretty cool. Got some big boys working on this. David Atkinson. I mean, yeah, it seems decent enough. I do like this chart. I think this is some very healthy accumulation. You know, if you got an average entry around 5 cents, you're probably chilling. Does seem to be some, plenty of profit takers on each pump. So naturally, and until you break out from this range, there's not really anything to be like interested in. If you break down, you might want to steer clear. And if you break up, you're probably looking for a really nice move. And there's not too much like information to go off of this, right? It launched and it's sideways. That's all. So you either believe in it and you're willing to shoot your shot at 70 million, or you don't and you steer clear. That's kind of the only plays here. Any chance you can have a look at Solana? Absolutely. Big picture, it looks pretty much just like Bitcoin. Obviously, the percentages, it's outperforming. I'm sure Sol BTC looks even better. Yeah. I do think it's going to be going through a bit of a cool off in the near term. Especially if ETH starts to outperform, you might be seeing a rotation from Solana to ETH. But for now, you're holding the weekly 8 EMA. Daily market structure is still intact and very healthy. Let's look at the USDT pair. I'd say you don't really want to see this losing like 80-ish. That's probably near 4-hour support. Yeah, we got Pi line at 80. Big picture market structure level is right around like 67. That's where this last big explosive move really came from. So unless you lose that, I think big picture structure is still intact. An ideal place for a higher low is pretty much right here. Right? You don't really want to lose the low like 90s. So I'd say if you're still in longs, you don't really want to see much below 80. Right? Maybe a flush below this level, but at that point you definitely want to see this start to break back up. Otherwise, it looks pretty rough in the near term. Okay. Thoughts on Wombat? I think Wombat looks really solid. A disclaimer, I did get a really good OTC deal on this around 2 cents. So naturally, I'm a bit incentivized to talk nicely about this project, but it's also one of those, right? Like if you believe in it, it's time to shoot your shot. Like the only thing I don't like is this massive difference in circulating and fully diluted. I typically try to avoid these, but for a project of this caliber, 50 million big picture bull market, that's like top 700. So if you believe this can be a top 200 project, then this is kind of moot. It just depends on their emission schedule and what they plan to do. But in general, I kind of like the whole GameFi, NFT-fi narrative. I don't have a ton of exposure to like NFT-fi and GameFi, so I like holding this one. I like holding PRTC for NFT-fi. Recently, I like M0 for GameFi and ASG as well. Ooh. Oh, dude, I wish I wasn't streaming. I definitely wanted to bid more of this. It went to 3.5. Damn. What is it now? What's it? 4.3. But yeah, in general, I like Wombat a fair bit. I'm getting this vested for like the next few months, but I'm not selling any of it anywhere near here. I would like at least 50 million circulating to really look to be taking profits on this heavily. I think it looks really solid. How we're feeling about DEXTF? It's been snoozing a bit lately. But I'm not that surprised with that, given that it bottomed at like 3 cents. No, sorry. It bottomed at 0.02. So you're talking about like a 50x or something. What is the actual low? 0.001. So, you know, this coin's already gone 260 at, no, sorry, 320x the last year. So when you got something doing that, a 40% pullback does not surprise me at all. Big picture, I know I say that a lot, but that's really what I'm trying to think about over the next year is big picture. This looks silly, right? And this is the coin that's kind of in bed with Deutsche Bank and whatnot. I know a lot of people have different opinions about them. I mean, I'm not here saying Deutsche Bank is a great bank, but that's big money. You know, that's hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars involved. And then they're directly involved with a $25 million market cap crypto project. Come on. Personally, this is one of my favorite real world asset narrative coins. I'm still full size on this. I joined pretty late too. I think I'm in from like 13 cents. So I'm barely sitting on a 2x right now. But I'm thinking this, you know, maybe it cools off another month or two. But I genuinely think this one's going to new highs at some point this year. So I'm holding strong. I'm not touching this. I want to give this one a lot of room to run. I'm thinking 250 million makes a lot of sense. Did you see Metal and Small Caps chat? I did not. I see people talking about it. I know it went crazy lately. I'm guessing it's this one. what the hell is that? Yo, what the heck? I mean, I know it's only 2 million, so you know this doesn't really necessarily mean anything. But what the hell? Why is this going 20x in 2 weeks? What you got for me, Luke? Why is this just absolutely exploding? This is wild. Game release date? Is this a gaming project? Bad Mad Robots. Free to play multiplayer shooter. Okay, do we not have footage? Is there, can I not scroll? I guess not. I guess they're playing on the hype. Maybe their Twitter has like some gameplay. I guess. All right. Any real gameplay? Okay. Well, there's extremely little information that I'm seeing, but here's the thing, the market loves it. And sometimes that's all that really matters. Now, 2 million market cap or not, I'm just not good at chasing charts like this. It's the same reason I missed out on P's. I'm just not good at buying stuff that's up a lot in the near term. That's why I prefer to buy on the way down. But just because something's up a lot doesn't mean it can't keep going. So I would say, you know, it's probably something you just left curve, dude. The market likes metal. I don't see any reason to, you know, 20x in a week. Yeah, maybe you take your initials out and your first wave of profits. But it's $2 million market cap, you know, doesn't really, you know, doesn't really mean anything. 69 million market cap VANRY. Yeah, I think VANRY chart looks fine. the accumulation looks really good. I just, there's not much to go off of. When a coin launches and does this, you either like it or you don't. There's not really any like strategy around it other than do you like the fundamentals or not. Can we do INJ? Yes, sir. I totally missed out on this one. Damn, I didn't even realize this made new highs. What a run, dudes. What a run. Does look kind of toppy in the near term, I will say that. Kind of the same energy as Solana, right? You don't want to see it lose this level, or it's going to start looking like distribution. For now, though, market structure has been respected. It looks like it's back in a new uptrend in the near term too, right? You've got some higher highs and higher lows. I would say in general, you probably don't want to lose mid 30s. If you're trying to swing trade this around, you've got pie line support and daily EMA support down at 30-ish. But in general, if you're kind of breakout trading this is your new little uptrend. I would not want to see this fail. If you start to lose like 34-ish, it's looking pretty rocky because you're going to have to escape a new downtrend on the 4-hour, at which point you just wait and pop back in there. So I think if you like INJ, you're going to want it to stay above 30, 33-ish. So probably something like, bid here, close below here, and you cut it. And I'd be looking like, low 50s for your main target. So, pretty solid risk reward. Like at 3-ish or something, 2.5. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think this still looks pretty good. I mean, here's the thing. It might look toppy, but you just closed a new all-time high on the monthly. So, any kind of uptrend around here is probably not to be faded. Well, I gotta blow my nose real quick. All right. Yeah, it looks strong, dude. Just be careful if that near-term 33-ish trend fails. Is Wombat one of your officials? No. No, it wasn't an official trade because I got in on a really good OTC opportunity and it was already trading like 2x from there, so that's not going to be an official trade. Can you look at TOKA? Yep. I'm guessing this one. Correct market cap is around 6 mil. We can look at the fundamentals. Strictly chart-wise, I mean, it doesn't look great. You don't have much info to go on. It's not been live very long, but this was kind of your uptrend, and now you're in a new little downtrend. So you're gonna need to break this pattern, right? Once you can start getting back above 18, it starts to look a bit spicy again. Oh, Tonka, right? There's some guys who had a thread on this in Blockcircle, I believe. Lending and borrowing for inscriptions. Now that is a narrative I can definitely get behind. And as far as I know, first mover, maybe? I think it's first mover. Definitely would be curious the vesting plans for that private round. Is this live? Oh, Q1 mainnet. Okay. I mean, at 6 mil, I think this is a really solid narrative. Genuinely. I'm not super in tune with the whole inscription ecosystem, so I don't actually know if this is a first mover. But, this is a narrative that I don't feel is super saturated yet. So yeah, that's something I can get behind. Strictly talking chart, again, yeah, it doesn't look great. You definitely want to reclaim that 15 to 1800 level. Okay, let me just draw a real line. Definitely want to reclaim above here, right? So you can have a new trend going. But, at $6 million market cap, it's just kind of in that range of if you like it, you like it. I wouldn't be putting 20% of your account in it, but 2 to 5%, and then you just ride it out. It either fails or it's super successful. I think it's good. It's not like, the Unibot narrative where you got 20 different trading bots, 50 trading bots all doing the same thing. I haven't seen a single other project doing this, but again, I'm not super in tune with the whole inscription ecosystem, so there might be one, and that would be bullish. If there's a project doing this that's $100 million and this is 6, that could be good. So yeah, I like it. There's a thread somewhere trying to find it. Oh, I can show comments on the screen. That's pretty dope. I can't copy that. I can't copy comments, so that's kind of lame. But I know who you're talking about. I follow chill. What project are you talking about? You're talking about metal, right? I think this is the. Is this the thread? Is this the thread you're linking? I'm guessing. See, this is all that matters. If you're invested in GameFi, guys, this is all that matters. Is that it's fun. Like the pay to earn shit does not matter if the game blows. So again, this is not enough for me to say this looks fun. Right? You need actual gameplay. And another big thing for these companies is they need to partner with streamers. Right? You need a streamer on Twitch that's going to stream this to 1,000+ viewers. I think a lot of GameFi projects are seriously underlooking that part of it, but your best marketing is popular streamers. And not like XQC, not Ninja or Shroud. Like, you don't need the big wigs that are going to charge you tens of millions of dollars. All you need are a streamer with 30K followers, right? That's how you get it started. These are some good partners. I would definitely agree with that. Nice. Good connections. Partner with Square Enix, integrated with Epic Games. I mean, yeah, everything around this project looks really solid. Team is ex-Nintendo. So, yeah, I mean, metal looks like it's shaping up to be really, really solid. I still think on a 20x, you probably take initials, but if you're like me, I've rode 20x's and not taken initials. Sometimes if you believe it's still super undervalued, you don't mind sitting through pullbacks, let it ride. Let it ride. I'm at a free bag on P's from staking rewards. Let's go, dude. That's another one, man. You might just want to ride that bad boy out. No, it's only well, it's 40 million. Maybe you take your initials from 20 cents. But it's so much easier to say take your initials when you're not invested. I would sit through this and not take my initials, but I would probably take my initials. Or if you're sitting free from staking rewards, puke the staking rewards and then let it ride. The easiest strategy in a bull market is just riding higher lows, man. When it finally ends and you get out, you're going to be selling 50% from the highs, but think about it. If you've just been riding higher lows, your stop loss right now is $3 from a 30-cent entry. Anyways, looks really solid on P's. I flagged ASG at your ad price before. Yeah, I'm not, I mean, I could add on stream if I wanted to, but I try not to trade while I'm on stream. Also, I'm just like I am super, super thin right now. Like I have no cash. I mean, I have no cash in crypto, and I've long since decided that I'm not sending money from my bank this cycle. So if I want to get more of this, I gotta sell some of something else, and I just don't have anything I want to sell. Like I really don't want to sell anything here. So it basically means, even though I want to add more to this, I just don't know what I would sell. Like I sold some ITX, even though it still looks good. Um, I could maybe sell like a little bit more Nexera, but I've already sold like a third of my bag. I don't really want to sell anymore when I've only made like a 2 to 3x. And then there's ATOR. I could sell the tip of the Adam and Eve, but I genuinely think into March this is probably going to explode. So I really don't want to sell that. I've already sold enough Fidam Creed 0K in. Like I just don't have stuff I want to sell. Maybe Dua, but it's already pulled back 50%. I don't really want to puke the lows on that. Just I don't have anything that I can TP to get into these new plays. I'm really cutting myself like thin here. And happily, I'm happy with everything I own for the most part, outside of a handful of stuff like guys. But I'm kind of committed at this point. Like it either goes big someday or it just sits and does nothing. Can you look at 3D Pass losing faith? I mean, yeah, I kind of warned that the chart looks rough if you lose 2-6-ish, and you have lost that. So, but I'm pretty sure this is like, isn't this only like 5 mil market cap now? Man, we don't have circulating on this. 22 million fully diluted. I don't know what the circulating is. I think the circulating is like a third of this or something. But chart wise, this does not inspire confidence. Losing this level is really bad. So, it makes sense to cut it here if you're not committed to it for the long term. For me, it was just another risk to zero. I think it was 2%. So I'm personally just letting this one ride. But if you went bigger on it and if you're over risking, maybe it's not, maybe it's not something to hold until you can reclaim like 0.03. Okay. Liquidium exists already, can borrow off ordinals with it. Ah, but does it have a token? Can I show like multiple? No, one at a time. I'm sorry if you guys hear my dog too. She's going crazy because the cleaners are out there. But anyways, even if there's one project doing what your project is trying to do, I think there's plenty of room for lending and borrowing ordinals. Check out TURT. Here we go. First and best IDO platform for BRC20, down 70% high. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Ooh. That is a nice retrace. What did you say this was? Here we go. So what is this, like a marketplace for ordinals? Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. So marketplace for ordinals, yeah? And also, you got to consider, guys, I don't think that Bitcoin DeFi is like super oversaturated yet. I mean, you consider how long ETH is around, and there's platforms that are launching that do stuff that other platforms have done, and they're still ripping. So I don't think anything in Bitcoin DeFi is oversaturated yet. BRC20 narrative a little bit near term, but big picture, I really don't think so. TURT is a meme token? What? I mean, I don't know how I feel about that not having. I feel like it should have platform utility, but um, I don't know. I mean, I would like to see some kind of traction before chasing this. This is kind of like a death spiral right here. I don't really. I mean, if you again, it's one of those. If you like the project, but I typically would not want to buy this. I'd rather buy, something like this, and you're not always going to get this perfect kind of setup. But I'd rather be a little bit late and buy something like this. The problem is I tend to like forget about these projects, and then I check back in on them and they're like this, and I refuse to buy it, and then it goes like 10x. But this might be worth a nibble. So if it bottoms here, if you can nibble in this kind of region, and then if it bottoms and you have to buy up here, at least your average cost is going to be a little bit better. And you are sitting back at, the old support before this big breakout. So that's pretty good. Maybe if you can get closer to like 2000. Oh, Ryan asking the real question. Do any of these tokens dance? I, I haven't seen a single token that dances aside from the triangle. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I can't really talk about that much because it's so low liquidity. People will call me a pump and number. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say looks to be putting in a bottom. I don't think it looks to be putting in a bottom at all. But I do like the level that it's at. I think until you clear the fours, it's kind of hard to say it looks like it's putting in a bottom, or at least get some sideways going. But to me, this looks just like this, looks just like this, looks just like this, looks just like this. Like it looks to be just going down. But if you liked it at 10, I mean, you'd probably like it a lot more at 3. You stake TURT to get whitelist spot. Oh, I mean, okay, there's some good utility right there. That's pretty solid. Put some analysis in the TURT channel. All right. I'll definitely give it a peek. But again, it's like, when people are sharing new projects now, it's like, what am I going to sell to get in on that action? And I'm really getting thin on how much of my top 3, because that's typically what I've been doing lately. If I want to sell, I'm trimming ATOR, 0K, and Creso, and Fideum. And because those are my most profitable right now, but I really don't want to trim anymore unless I feel super confident. In this, I don't feel super confident in. Oh, that's nice. You love that. Well, she's getting hammered a little bit here. That is one thing I want to point out. We haven't talked Welsh yet. I do think near term is going to get a bit rough, because as ETF for Bitcoin kind of reaches its peak near term narrative, the same thing likely happens for Stacks, as Stacks is just a basically leveraged play on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin cools off to like 40K, Stacks is going to cool off to the low ones probably. And if that happens, you're probably going to get Welsh cooling off to the low, thousands, 1500, 1800, something like that. So I do think this is probably due for a bit of a pullback. And I mean, given its crazy run up from, 15 Satoshi or whatever that is to 5,000, I mean, I'm not surprised. But this looks pretty healthy, the big picture chart. The MEXC chart doesn't look great, but, this is kind of the near-term trend. So if we can continue and put in a higher low in front of like 2000-ish, this looks really good. But near term, being a beta play to Stacks and Stacks being a beta play to Bitcoin, I do think it's going to be a bit of a a bit of a cool off unless Bitcoin just maintains really strong uptrend in this region. If this happens, we're chilling. But if this kind of happens, it's going to be a bit rough for Stacks and Welsh in the near term. So just keep that in mind, guys. I know I'd like to see this go to 100 million, 500 million, a billion plus. But, if you're up bigly from like $1 million market cap when we got in, there's no shame just taking your initial out or something. Did I miss anything? You talked about guys. The chat seems dead. Devs didn't message anything in the bunch. Yeah, dude. I think it looks pretty dead. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed in this one. The dev behind this does not seem like someone who would just let this die. But this looks horrible. And then you got that pump and dumper coming in, Crypto King or whatever his name was. I should have sold him to his dumbass, but I'm just so committed to holding through the pain on this one. But big ups to anyone that got out. This was our break even around 20 cents or even lower if you added with me in the 8-cent region. But it looks dead, dude. I would not buy. I would not touch it. If you're in, I'm still holding, but it is not looking promising at all. Not even slightly. So but I've seen it time and time again. It looks dead. The dev looks dead. And then out of nowhere, he comes back, and it's a giant fat green candle. But, we're kind of living on a prayer here. Hold on, let me check my wallet. I got to see if the token... Oh, he's still dancing. Okay, nice. All right, we're good. Let's check on Welsh. Yeah. I mean, this does not look so good, right? Near term looks kind of weak. Right? I would not be surprised to just see this kind of fizzle out a little bit for a while. But this looks very promising. Right? We can't chart this, but, it looks like a simple triangle pattern. Maybe we retest low, 1000s. But regardless, this is my single play that I'm diamond handing harder than everything else. I'm willing to risk this 2-0. And that's why I'm going to be a little bit more comfy taking profits on some of this stuff a little bit earlier. Because I'm diamond handing this bad boy 0 or 0. Potential problem with BitGet trending on Twitter. What the hell is BitGet? An exchange? I don't know what BitGet is, but sounds like another tier 3 exchange getting wrecked. I don't know. This is why I keep the majority of my money on my own wallets. At least if I get screwed, I have to get mugged or 0-day exploited. I don't got to put my money in some shady CEO's hands. And just in general, I hate using CeFi. I really hate using it. Maybe you could spill some educational alpha when to cut positions. Like, what are some really concerning red flags? Well, I mean, there's two types of that, right? There's like, fundamental red flags. And, if we're talking big picture, the pi cycle is kind of my big go-to. This is kind of my cut it and run. Pi cycle has caught every peak on Bitcoin so far, and maybe it won't happen again, but it's 4 for 4 on tops and 3 for 3 on bottoms. So this is a good fundamental aggressively take profits indicator, and I think we're a long ways away, but when this comes in, I'm definitely going to look to really reevaluate. And then fundamental, I mean, if you're talking about like low caps, I mean, obviously if the team starts to sell, things are looking kind of shady. Massive unlocks can always be questionable, at least in the near term. But more often than not, I think it's best to focus on the technicals. Aside from like, again, a $4 million market cap project, the technicals are not going to matter. Like, it's just not going to matter that much. But when you're talking about some of the bigger coins, the simplest thing is just market structure, right? You want to be in while price is making higher highs and higher lows. And when you try to put in lower highs and lower lows, you want to get out. Super simple. I know it's easier said than done. But, just looking at the last big explosive trend on Bitcoin, it really is that simple sometimes. Look at that. Super clean. You trail your stop out all the way up, and then you get a lower low, a lower high, and you just cut it. And you can ride from 10K to 45K. You're not going to sell the peak. With the trailing stop strategy, you're never going to sell the peak. But most people are going to emotionally decide to get out probably long before your trailing stop is going to hit. This is my favorite strategy. And a good strat is to, if you say you get in on the trend break back here, maybe say you're even a little late, you take profits on your initial 2 to 3 candles in your favor. Right? So let's say you bought, this breakout here, or let's say you even bought the big breakout. Right? Your first big candle in your favor is this one, and your next second and third candle are here. So probably here, you take your first wave of profits, and then 5 to 8 candles in your favor, you take your next wave. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe somewhere in here, you're taking your next second wave of profits. So then already, if you don't get a mega trend, if you bought here, you're in profits. Now, if you fully run it back, you still make money. And then you trailing stop the rest for as long as the trend goes. And this goes for, you don't have to sit still though. So, you can compound this, right? You can buy in, whatever we said buy in, take your initials and let the rest ride. And then you get a new setup, the same strat. You can buy in, stop a little low, whatever you want to do. 1, 2, 3 candles in your favor, first wave of profits. 4, 5, 6 candles in your favor, second wave of profits. And then you trailing stop. So now you're trailing stop this entry. You're trailing stop this entry. Here's a nice BCI play, right? You close above the topping tail. That's a new entry. You can buy there, stop below the BCI. 1, 2, 3 in your favor, take some profits. 4, 5, take your next wave of profits. And then you're trailing stop this entry too. Oh, look, another engulfing setup here. Stop below the low. 1, 2, 3 in your favor, first wave of profits. 3, 4, 5, second wave of profits, and then you're trailing stop with higher lows. Oh, look, another setup, and you just keep adding. And by the end of the trend, you might have 5 or 6 trades that you've taken 2 waves of profits on, so they're already profitable, and you're trailing at your stops on all of them. And at this point, your stop for all these trades are here. And only, this trade, you buy this engulfing setup, you're probably going to take an L on it. But even here, if this little bullish engulfing is your entry, you get 1, 2, 3 candles in your favor, you can already take your first wave of profits. So this is only going to be like a 2/3 loss or whatever. Anyways, for sure, hands down, the trailing stop strategy is going to keep you in the trend the longest and get you out when it's truly over. Even over here, right? You can be trailing your stop, boom, lower low, you're out. Your chance to get back in is over here. And then same thing, trail your stops, boom, lower low, you're out. And then you just don't get back in until the trend flips. Right? And the trend does not flip for a very long time. So that is hands down the best way to ride the trend the longest And again, keeping in mind that for this strategy to work, you're always going to be exiting down like 30-40% from the highs. But you take profits on the initial moves, thus that it's already a profitable trade. And even though you're selling from the highs, you're probably selling higher than most people who are going to decide, oh, it's a 5x in a week, I want to get out. Oh, it's 10x in a month, I'm out, all my size, Versus you might get a 40x without having to think, because all you're doing is just trailing your stop until it's over. Anyways, I'm not going to talk anymore about it. We've got a couple streams from 2023 that are worth watching for sure, where we go full detail on how to manage it. And of course, my favorite example on this is for Neo, which we don't have enough price history on this chart to go into detail. But trailing stop loss, my dude, it's the simplest way. You don't have to think. And, an example of how that works on BTC right now, right? Your entry's somewhere in here, right? That's your first wave of profits, second wave of profits, and now you're trailing your stop with these higher lows. So right now, your trailing stop is somewhere, around 41K or 40.5. And 9 times out of 10 for me, these are closing basis stops. But if you're feeling a little bit more risk averse, it can be a hard stop. Thus, if this trend stays intact, we should not go below 40.5. And your trailing stop should be intact. And then once you lose a previous higher low, you just cut it. Simple as that. The exchange sponsored by Methy? You're talking about the football player? I mean, yeah, the exchange might be fine, but if, you get some uncertainty like this, then it's time to dip out for a bit. Get off the exchange. Oh, check it out, guys. Trending in United States. Arrest him. Trending with white privilege. Anybody want to check it out? Just kidding. That's bad business. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm talking about. Arrest him. Trending with white privilege. Ooh. All right. Let's see. How long have we been going here? About 2 hours. So I'm not going to go into details about this because it's 50K liquidity, guys. I can't really talk about this without people ragging on me. But this is my first meme play I bought on Solana. I bought like 10K and pushed it like 50% in price. So that should tell you how illiquid this is and how extremely high risk it is. It's not going to be an official Blockcircle play. It just can't be with this liquidity. I mean, it is what it is. But I bought it. It's just some meme coin on Solana. The token dances in your wallet. That is literally the narrative. Nothing more. The token dances. I like that the token dances, so I'm going to buy some. Has there ever been a stronger narrative in crypto? I don't think so. But for real, though, it's super low market cap, extremely illiquid. This is not something to put size on. It might not even be something to buy at all, but I did buy it. Gonna let the stream guys know it won't be an official play because I'll get called a pump and dumper, but I bought it and I won't sell it unless it rips. So there you have it, laddies. A token that dances in your freaking wallet. How about it? Let's do one last comb through. And maybe we'll get out of here. 2 hours for a public stream is probably long enough. Bean's looking pretty strong. This is looking strong. Unsheath is starting to come to life. I really want to get more of this. I just don't have the money. Oticon hanging on by a thread. Guardian's looking good. Zero is looking a little bit weak. Ari's looking good. Added more to this last night. X looks good. Maybe a pullback to 2,500. ASG looking a little weak. Guys looks dead. ITX looking strong. 20 mil is my next target for this one. Payment's looking good. Triangle is still dancing. Welsh is looking pretty good, actually. All right, guys. Well, I do think it's about time for me to call it. I greatly appreciate all you guys that tuned in, all the Blockcircle guys, all the Twitter guys, Facebook guys, whoever's watching this from wherever you're watching it. Much love to you. We'd love to have you on Blockcircle if you're not there already. We're extremely confident in the value we provide. And for those of you that are in, we'll have another stream on Sunday. That'll be a private stream. Holy crap! Sorry, I just had a freaking brain fart. Private stream Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll see you guys there. All the glory to God as always. Thank you to Jesus for allowing me to be here with a wonderful job that I love doing every single day. God bless. Hallelujah. Can I get one more trial? I'm not sure about that. Maybe Basil, if you're in the chat, can you confirm? Do we still do free trials? I think we do, but I'm not sure. You'll have to double check. If you message my business partner, Basil Ismail, on Twitter, if you DM him, he'll be able to tell you whether or not we still do that. I can't remember. I don't handle payments. Maybe 2 weeks. If we do a free trial, it's a month. I don't know if we do it, but if we do, it'll be a month. I just can't remember whether or not we actually do that anymore. Because then you get people that abuse it. They do the free trial for a month, they leave, they make a new email, they do a free trial, they leave, and it's just like, if you're willing to invest in yourself, we feel $100 is a pretty fair price for what we offer. But we might have the trial. I really don't remember. But if you DM him, he'll let you know. Yeah, I'll shut him out. I'll let him know to check his DMs for sure. All right, God bless you, Kumachi. God bless all you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can catch me on Twitter, on Discord, Telegram. Just always keep in mind, I'll never ask you for anything. Obviously, I'll never ask you for money. I'll never ask you for private details, anything like that. My Discord name is Crypto Hunter. Just Crypto Hunter, the only Crypto Hunter on Discord. Not Crypto X Hunter, not Crypto HUNQ Hunter, just Crypto Hunter. But ETF Live on Fidelity, what a way to end the stream. We made it, guys. ETF's live, bull market's over. It's been a great run. All right, much love to you guys. I will catch you on the next stream. Trade smart, be safe, and peace out.